Hello, my today's guest at Angie's India is a very creative and talented person. He is very humble and simple, just like most of my guests. He doesn't speak about much about his work, but of course, anyone who knows who's been gifted by the most beautiful hand and the most beautiful craft is my guest today. He is none other than Mr. Radhakrishnan. He is very well known for his art and sculpture. Every art gallery is constantly chasing to get his work in their gallery. But of course, he's very smart, picky, choosy, and he knows who the good ones are and how to choose and realize who the best pick is. So let me introduce to you one of the most talented sculptors of India, Mr. Radhakrishnan. How are you? And welcome to my show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, you know, I'm so happy that I'm here with you for this NGC here, Bieng. And, well, see, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Spot them at.
Thank you. So I'd like to ask you, everyone of course, as I said, knows you, loves to have your artwork and sculptures in their home. But how do you start your career and at what age? And how did you realize that this is something you wanted to take up as a lifelong profession?
Well, I took to art at a very young age. I think most artists made it too. As a schoolboy, it is not true. I probably was 8 years old when my father sent me to his brother who's a mate. And that was just very close by. So I spent a lot of time with him, and he was a very realistic painter. So I really had the basic training. So working with him, along with that I go to school and college. I was probably 18 when I decided that I must go to an art college. So now to debate in Kerala, especially from a village, which college to go and this and that was a very big issue. So most people from Kerala, they go to Madras Art College. And my case, that there has been some kind of a problem, provincial issues for admissions for a Keralite and things like that. So then the next idea that came to me was to go to Shantiniketan. So now going to Shantiniketan, I didn't know who went before or how to reach there and details. I just took a chance, giving an application, probably the month of January, and then waited. So when the monsoon came, by July, I got the reply that I should be reaching there to give an interview.
Right.
So the idea of going to Shantiniketan was the biggest break that I had bought. And the strongest decision that I made was that to be admitted as a student and to work under the masters.
Okay. So who are the masters you worked under when you started your career?
I think, I went to learn painting, not to be a sculptor, because I never did sculptures before. So reaching there, I met with Ram Kingan. I met with Sharmari Rajotki and also Somnath. These three teachers, the strong personalities, they're living in Shantiniketan. And their presence was so strong, and they are the best teachers. Probably also they are the best artists of that time, Shantiniketan. So having a chance to work with these personalities, then you know which direction that you want to go to. Because painting, okay, I did painting, and that really gave me admission there. Then the printmaking comes. Then the sculpting in, sculpture department, and it's different. So all that you try it out for 2 years to understand what should be your focus and specialization.
Yes.
So I decided that because of the kind of enthusiasm that I received, the kind of inspiration that I got from some of the teachers, especially Sharvari Roy Chaudhary.
Right.
I decided that I will be taking up sculpting. Sculpting means whatever I have done, digital things, they liked it, they appreciated it. And that made me a kind of a clear choice of what I want to do.
And which year was this in?
That was in 1974 I landed.
Okay.
1974 I landed in Shantiniketan to be a student. And in 2 years after when I took to seriously sculpt.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 years after that.
Now it's 76, I should say.
So how many years has it been now? 50?
Yeah, 74 I started, which was almost 51 years.
So what is the difference in a creative person who's good at art as well as sculpting? What is the difference in the techniques? What makes you, what form or what proportion or what attracted you more towards sculpting versus
The painting. See, everything is an artwork. With structure
Yes,
and then
that's-
whatever.
yes.
Now from painting, when I do, I think it's a two-dimensional art, and sculpting really had to deal with the other issues. That is, sculpting is a three-dimensional object. So easily, the whole nature, the approach, the method, materials, and everything changes.
Right.
Yeah, because initially in Shantiniketan, we started working with clay.
Mm-hmm.
And clay is the most malleable medium, scotch, and the whole school of Shantiniketan is, I would say a modeling section.
Okay.
Yeah, because Bikaner did Venice practice in clay to plaster and things like that, cement modeling.
Yeah.
Shagari also did some small sculptures, but he casted it to bronzes. Even Somnath started, like in 75 onwards, that he also started making big sculptures. Big sculptures in the sense to use of sculptures.
Yes. Yes.
So, with all their presence, I think it was easy for me to sort of to choose, and of course the sort of sculpture is chosen, but also to sort of to get to reach to your own style and methods and things like that.
Right.
To really identify with your own pieces. Initially it doesn't happen. Nothing is very easy to sort of to get your own language.
Right.
But over a period of time, one chooses to get it in a hard way.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
That's all.
So that's how it was. Okay. So so when you chose this, what was the type of sculpture you were making earlier versus now?
Oh well, things change as you move.
Yes, at times.
Yeah. Because you start with something that But I have always had one thing in my mind. There's a human presence in most of my sculptures. And that human presence sometimes was not recognized in the early sculptures. It was there, but it gets distorted to that kind of a level.
Right.
That sometimes you don't really recognize the reference that it comes from.
Right.
So it keeps evolving. But human presence was definitely there. From the early ones, even today.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a common denominator for you, human presence.
I would really say so. It's a very, very human figure. When I say figurative art, yes, I have always been one.
Yes.
And the scale changes.
Yeah.
Yes. But then I think I always lived, with people. So, so that is something. Initially, of course, I was very, very introvert.
Right.
And did not communicate so much with many other people, many other students and all.
Right.
But I communicated with certain intellectuals.
Right.
And, and then, you understand art through different things.
Yes.
Like art history department, that we had a very strong department of art history.
Right.
And equally strong library that we had. So, as getting yourself trained to become an artist or to be a sculptor, that is something that you had to devote so much of time into that.
Right.
Because when you're a painter, you have when you're a painter, you have a different kind of a method.
Yes.
And and sculpting is taking a totally different materials in your hand.
Right.
You are not dealing with a brush anymore.
Yeah.
You have a hammer in your hand. You have a chisel in your hand.
Right.
So, and you are building from nothing.
Yeah.
The clay that you build up, it's absolutely a kind of a process which is of a different kind.
Right.
And we were told that the sky is the limit. There's no, that deep. So you can just keep
playing. Yes. Playing and
doing things, evolving and things like that. But I think I stayed around almost 8 years, I should say, Shantiniketan assisted it. And in this 7-8 years, I mean, I did my master's and everything because I didn't want to leave Shantiniketan.
Yes.
Shantiniketan is a kind of a place that has tremendous scope to learn from nature.
Yes.
And that is something probably any other
Yes.
doesn't offer.
So can you describe Shantiniketan? Because I'm sure everybody's heard of it, but they never experienced it or lived there or spectated there.
Shantiniketan is the place, and Vishwavaradi is the university.
Okay.
And university is founded by Tagore. There is a nice I wrote, 1919, which was it was just almost 100, more than 100 years back.
Right.
Now, reaching there as a student only, then I realized that
Right.
the education system can be so much informal
Right.
because you are part of the nature
Nature.
and you are interacting yourself as part of it and
Yes.
using it from within.
Yes.
It has a different perspective.
Yeah.
It takes you to a different kind of a level
Right.
that drawing straight from life
Right.
and drawing from looking at an object, like many of the like Calcutta Art College or many other art colleges. No, they have sometimes they have an object that is kept before you,
Right.
and then you look at it, and then you draw.
You draw it according to.
According to that.
Yeah.
But here the system is not that.
Oh.
The whole system is that you have people you can, like you go to a village.
Right.
I mean, there are many tribal villages in Shantiniketan.
Right.
And also, Shantiniketan, the university doesn't have a periphery,
Right.
a given periphery as such.
Yeah.
So it's really getting merged with the paddy fields to forest to some other villages and everything. So you don't know what exactly where is what, whether you're inside university or whether you are outside the university.
And how many acres is Shantiniketan?
Oh, no, it's like mine is
Only
yes, it's a huge university.
Because we always heard of Shantiniketan, that you heard of the great masters, right? So how big is it? Is this a village? Is it a university? Is it professional?
Yes, I would really say it's a village. It has everything of a village.
Okay, everything of a million. Until now?
Even now.
Okay.
Well,
So have they kept it deliberately like that, or is it?
It has kept, it's not because of the ashram is there, and Tagore's ashram, but his museum, his houses and everything is there. So, the classes are held down the trees,
Right.
which itself shows that the trees, how important the trees are,
Right.
for a school student. And, that's probably one of the universities that you can go
Right.
as a nursery student
Yeah.
and come out with a PhD,
Right.
So
Right.
it has that. I don't think that any other university
University.
probably has that.
Yes.
So the trees are most important because that's the beam of shelter. I mean, that's the way the classes are held. The teacher comes and students sit there under the tree and the kind of extremely informal.
Right.
And I don't know now how things have changed because today the semester system,
Yes.
a lot of things have been introduced to the university. It's a dying kind. But till the time when we were there, the university, their art education was so
It
different.
was so different.
Yes, and now they want everything to be looked at in a uniformity,
Yes.
which doesn't work for art.
What?
You cannot really have a first semester, what have we learned for a new music student?
Yes.
So how things has to be done? Things are changed. I'm glad that those masters and those great people are not there now.
No,
They would be very shocked to see the type of system that is good.
So what is the system now there?
I told that most of the constrained teachers are suffering because their suffering is, there are certain things given to them. They have certain agenda to be completed.
Right.
That is not something that a teacher-student relation can really make it happen.
Yeah.
So in our case, when we were there, I mean, a month I can work with the teachers, and then maybe sometime I just don't have to be in the classroom. Go to a village, enjoy.
Yeah.
To study a buffalo.
Right.
I mean, and just go and look at the buffalo instead of
It's so there. Yeah.
instead of looking at one of the textbooks.
Yeah.
So there's always a saying in Malayalam, that the cow in the book that doesn't eat grass.
The kind.
Yeah, so you confront with the actual field and the right context.
Right.
And then, you really become one with that. And you look at the stakes and you develop your own skill according to your own needs.
Right.
So every individual student develop
Yes.
certain amount of that skill
Yes.
and how to look at the world with their own eyes.
Oh, right.
So that individuality comes into
Yes.
art over a period of time.
Okay. So you're originally from Kerala, as you say, or and what made you go to Bengal, West Bengal for Shantiniketan?
No, that's what, because I did not have anybody living in around that area
To help you.
to make or to know that something is good or bad or what. But being in a village and understanding the nature of the education in Shantiniketan as again another village.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe I would feel very comfortable
Right.
being there.
And you were?
I was absolutely comfortable to leave the place. I mean, soon after, of course, I completed. I felt I should have more challenges, and probably a city has to offer me. I had to hunt it, a big city.
Yeah.
So Shantiniketan, after completion of my studies,
Yeah. Then?
I decided to come with a fellowship that was offered to me to come and work in,
In Delhi.
in Delhi.
Okay. So what was your first role which you started in Delhi?
First, what was the first?
You said first project.
Yeah, for you to actually come with 1 year, there's a fellowship given to us.
Right.
There's a government studio that is in Gadi village.
Yes.
So, there were 5 of us, working that time as scholars. Himmat Shah was there, Amina, Bandarini Mukherjee, and there are many other names.
Yes.
Seeing him to be artists of different age group. So we all worked together, and I would really say that was one of the good period
Yeah.
to interact with the different artists.
Right. Right.
Because in Shantiniketan you have had lot many years,
Yeah.
and coming to Delhi and meeting with the different artists, different background and different scale, they have different materials.
Right. Right.
What kinds of things that was happening in Delhi,
Yeah.
and I think this Gadi Studio collective, this joint common studio program, that was very good for us to understand
Okay.
what could be the direction that you can choose.
Choose that. Do that. Yes.
So I always took to bronze
Oh.
because my sculptures are meant to be casted into bronze.
Oh.
Because I don't think that any other material would give me the kind of freedom that my fingers can to play
Yes.
with it.
But sorry to interrupt, but to ask you, you're saying bronze, and this was at what age did you decide to play with bronze?
Oh, that even when I was a student.
Oh, hasn't happened.
But I didn't have money to cast. You need a lot of money to cast.
So then how did that?
So we did some experimental works. We did some projects, small kinds. I think with the help of our teachers.
Right.
I remember Sharbari Roy Choudhury, who used to cast in the faculty in the college, and we also will put one small, a sculpture into the foundry in the palim, and then get one piece casted. So, which means just to try and work out how does it work, because clay, no sculpture stays forever.
Right. Right.
You have to either transfer
So
that
it stays.
you have to transfer that either into plaster of Paris or into cement or something.
Right. Right. Right.
And so that whatever sculptures that I had in the material, temporary material like cement and all, later I could cast it.
Okay.
So when when I start selling my sculptures and then getting some money, that would help me to cast the sculptures.
Yes.
The casting sculptures. Because bronze is what the kind of sensitive surface that we're looking at can be attained only on that time.
That time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think bronze.
That's how it works.
Bronze is the most
important thing. Okay, so this was from what age till from the beginning? Yes, you did say.
Yes.
What?
I came here in Delhi at the age of 26.
And you were there till now at doing broad sculptures.
Yes.
Okay.
It's such that so many sculptures, so many studios we get shifted, because always I am not working in the department in the very studios. Or only initially 2 years I worked. Then after that you choose for your own space.
Right.
And choose what kind of a scale that you want to work with. So opportunities naturally has to happen.
Yes.
It opens up.
It's open, yeah. So today, of course, I know it's a very question which is as of today, not at the past to the last 50 years. Bronze, you've seen the prices of gold and silver, and very soon it's coming to copper or any other metal, maybe even bronze. So how do you think the value of the cost of the bronze when you purchase? I'm sure that will go up as well.
Oh yeah, it's already going.
It's already more.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because the way any other metal.
Metal is good.
Because it's a natural resource.
Right.
And it naturally, and
Yes.
yes, because it's not something artificially made.
Yeah.
So if you look at when the price goes up in terms of making,
Right.
then price goes
Goes
up
up.
in terms of pricing and stuff.
Pricing as well.
Yeah, as well. Everything it really depends on.
It really does depend.
That's not the case with the painters.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, because even if it is stating, you don't know that much.
Yes. Yeah.
But for us, it is because if it's manual, a lot of labor involved, and there's a foundry activity involved.
Right.
Where you really have to have a big setup of melting the bronze.
Right. Right.
So melting bronze itself is a very big task,
Mm-hmm.
and then to have it finished and things like that would really
Right.
involving a lot more paper into that.
Okay.
So the price of making that definitely changes.
Okay, like that. Okay, great. Great. That's nice to know. So, the next question I'd like to ask you is that, of course, you had the experience of being at Shantiniketan, and also the experience of going through learning and also coming to new age art, which is as of today. So, you've also used bronze compared to other sculptors who use clay, or they use POP or mix of different materials or plaster or cement. How long will they last? Will they always, yours will always last are evergreen, without a doubt. What about theirs? Will they sell it and people buy it for appreciation on different purposes? They either paint it or they lacquer it or they deco it or do mix of materials. What is the difference of and they also pay a heavy price and a good, right, expensive. And they goes into collectors' auctions. How would you compare that?
Well, you see, the fiberglass has always been a medium for many artists. I mean, I think that was, our time when we were students also, I could see some of the, sort of exposure in the medium of fiberglass was sort of coming to the surface. But now, if you ask me, well, how does it, whether it lasts or not, but I can only say comparison to bronze, well, it may not. Bronze has a life of its own.
Yes.
Because these are materials which are modern and which are meant to be indoor. I would really say it's an indoor. But any effort of working on fiberglass as a material to be kept outside, and with the kind of time, naturally, it doesn't really have that original shape or original surface or whatever, everything gets changed. But as I think every sculpture needs certain amount of maintenance. And if a bronze can be kept outside, even in outside also the bronze, they have, there has to be some kind of effort to clean it up and things like that. But even a fiberglass sculpture inside also needs dusting and maintaining and all things like that. But which are the other materials? Now terracotta, some people are working with fire clay. But those things doesn't have everything if you really look after well.
Right. Yes.
Otherwise, there's no immortality in it.
No, when you say, like, if you have another, I'm not naming any artist or any sculptor because I don't think it's appropriate. There are people who put beautiful sculptures which are patent and all outside in their gardens or in their outdoor areas which can take moisture and other things. How will that sustain over a period of time and over years?
I would say it's not a very good idea.
Yes, as with climate change.
And also with the kind of extreme climates that we have.
Now.
And even, I don't think that even when you are traveling, most of the outdoor sculptures are either, stone or combination of metals and things like that. But in India, everybody making an effort of keeping anything in outside of a material other than these will be undoubtful about its long-term resistance.
Right.
Yes, I'm afraid it will not sustain that. The climatic changes that we have. It's not meant for outside at all. Next, but I will say so. But people already that the painting will not stay there. The fiber surfaces would go. It has its own, But when a bronze is being made, it's being proofed. that age zone. There was 3000 BC, bronze is still existing. So what I'm trying to say, bronze is a medium even with the kind of environment which changes or the kind of minerals that are in the air. It may change the pattern, the colors, but the form will not make any kind of a distortion or it will still be there.
Right. Okay, so you've also done some very prestigious projects, and some of your work has been in a lot of public spaces. Which are some of your favorite public spaces, and which are the ones which you've, if you tell us some ones in different cities, and then your pick of the favorite ones.
Yeah. See, I came out of Shantiniketan and coming back to Delhi. I had the idea that I would, if ever I get a chance to do an open air sculpture, I would jump on it. The idea, because first open air sculpture that was done in Bikaner, and that was a government project. The Urban Improvement Trust of Bikaner wanted 2 modern sculptures, within the city. And the idea, I think, probably must have come from, the minister at that time. It was Randivas Mirtha, who was the information and broadcasting minister. And that was, I'm talking about 1986. But we get ages back. He became the chairman of the Electoral Academy that the proposal had come up. So he probably wanted me to do the job. And I went to Bikaner and looked at the site and did 2 sculptures in concrete because they had a very less budget. Within the budget, what could be done? But I was not looking at the money then. I was looking at a chance to do something bigger, which was very important for me to gain some experience. So I cast 2 concrete sculptures over there. So that's where I started. But any chance that was coming on a bigger scale to do a sculpture, whichever medium, I was open to the idea. Now, in Garden of Five Senses, when it was started, Delhi Tourism, they asked me if I could do a sculpture for them. Then I just said, oh, that's first time probably Delhi government taking of an artist doing a sculpture for the public. I said, of course, I'd love to do it. The idea is that prior to that, in early 90s, I did many sculptures for the south of France.
Oh.
So I was spotting, I did many sculptures in the open.
Where? In south of France?
In south of France. So since knowing those, they were thinking that, you have been working in other countries.
Why not here?
Why not here?
So where in south of France did you do the?
It's a place called Portinac.
Okay.
And that's not far from, it's between Cannes and Marseille. So every summer I used to go and I had a sponsorship. So it was so easy for me to send huge sculptures cast in Delhi and goes by ship.
France.
Oh yeah, and then I go there, and then my sponsor used to install the sculptures at the site and things like that. It was an exciting experience, and that has been happening from the early 90s. Okay, this has been happening because I think
So how did the south of people in France get to know about you and ask you to commission these?
You see, in 1993, I had my major solo show in Paris. And having that exhibition brought me a certain amount of contact over there. Also, when you do something outside the country, back home also people would write much more. Because if I do such kind of a sculpture, probably it's a show in Delhi or anywhere else, I may not get that much reviews.
Right.
But, people write about things that's happening outside the country.
Yes.
That has been the case because we always want somebody to clap.
Yes.
Outside the country.
And did you also do it in many other parts besides south of France?
No, everywhere. I would have been sculptures in Singapore, Australia, and California. I don't know if the Tarang here, but Denmark, Copenhagen.
Yes.
So even someday when I travel and I get to see that some of my sculptures, I contact them, how they kept it and all things like that. They are the sculptures. So I explored even to understand where my sculptures are.
Okay, so that's...
So I really enjoyed doing, but all the sculptures which are kept in the open doesn't mean that they are for the public.
Oh, okay.
You see, there are certain things. Public sculptures are always open,
Right.
but all the open is not public.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm trying to say, like in Goa, on the promenade or in Panchi, next to the Mandavi River. I was given the site, which I really enjoyed working on that because it's a huge sculpture, almost like kind of a gate of Goa. That because Goa has a lot of floating population, and this is something somebody is sort of standing on the rooftop of a building, and then at the seaway, almost like kind of a post that he's seated on the rooftop.
Right.
And the structure of the whole thing was consumed to be like that. So I'm very happy that that chance of doing a method sculpture in Goa was done. And then of course in Kerala, I did a couple of sites. One is Calicut and one is Kottayam.
Okay.
They're also huge spots. But one thing when I say the public sculptures, I don't really take public money. If somebody gives me a kind of a what you call it, a location for a sculpture, I get excited of the fact. Oh my God, this is fantastic.
You don't worry about.
I don't worry about that. And also, if I touch public money, people might write, or there will be a lot of controversy.
Yes.
But what made you to be, doing that? What was the criteria of the selection? So when I'm donating, they cannot really, sort of come with a kind of such bad propaganda, that I have been paid for by the state and that I did the sculpture. So nobody can say anything about it.
Right.
And especially in Calicut, is a major ground where naturally a lot of people are coming and spending evenings.
Right.
And in the middle of it, I put the sculpture so that public come in contact with that. So I think that's one of the important sculpture for me. It's called the Time Tides.
Okay.
The Pala Pravaha.
Okay.
And that was done in 2013.
Okay.
And I enjoyed doing that because even today when I go there, I can see hundreds of people are
Watching,
sharing and sitting and hanging around that, which is very encouraging. That they make that sculpture their own.
Yes, and enjoy it. Yeah.
But recently I did one of the sculptures that was for the Supreme Board.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's in Delhi here, of course. And the thing is that it's a millet sculpture for me. It's constitution based on the Indian constitution. I was trying to conceive the sculpture, the constitution as a flourishing tree. But when you say the tree, idea of the tree, because this, it's very organic and it has a life of its own.
Yes.
And also, it is being kept in the water. So the water body and that tree concept was going very well. Also, it has been created with a lot of people. Small figures are placed together, hundreds of figures are placed together to form the.
So how did the concept come? Were you given a brief? And
I don't think so, but they really told me only one brief. That was, it should be something connected to the constitution.
oh, okay.
And I could be coming up with that,
Anything.
whether it is tree or that or this or whatever. But when I proposed this idea, I think, but that's where they were very good.
So gave you to free them to use your own creativity.
Yeah, otherwise if they start choosing and judging and all, then the structure, will be very big departure from what I normally think about.
Right.
I would enjoy doing what, my idea when it comes to this thing.
Yeah.
But that way, these judges, very, very kind to a sculptor to do that piece, that was very good. And that only thing is that, it's public sculpture, it's true, but I don't think the general public can go there.
Of course, that's naturally. Yes.
Yeah.
Only it's the people, the
yeah.
advocates, and
Also, unless we commit a crime.
yeah, obsessed. Yeah. So get to see that. Okay, great. And you've also done your sculptures in many prestigious holds as well. And so do you prefer public or residential?
You see, you have, extremely passionate buyers. And that may not be the case of an extremely passionate corporate buyer.
Yes.
Because corporate has certain amount and they would really want a kind of a collective decision they make.
Yeah.
But some of the individuals are extremely passionate and then they would want it to be placed so well, they take care of it.
Right.
So it has its own charm.
It has its own.
Yeah. For the reason that it's looked after.
Yes.
He can adopt something, but how much?
And how much able to look after, yes.
Many of the public sculptures,
They are not looked after.
they are not looked.
Yeah, it's public.
Because you don't have that awareness of. It's very important to be looking after a sculpture. Because I remember, once I went to Calicut, and one of the newspaper that was showing my sculpture being cleaned by the three people are standing on my figure and clearing it. I was so happy that look at
Somebody is
the first birds pro and this and that and all.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. I mean, this attitude to a public art is so much important.
so much. And have you done, are you planning to put some of your sculptures, or are they already there in many of the auction houses?
You see, I don't put my sculpture.
Just galleries put it.
The characters are the bias.
Oh.
Because, it could be somebody who is old. I remember meeting somebody recently that I had sold that sculpture years back when he was living in Sultanate.
Yes.
So he was a German person.
Yeah.
So he went back, and now he must be late 80s.
So you put it in.
I know now also naturally put it. So
Okay, so that's how it reaches.
yeah, basis to the thing. I am not involved in putting any of my sculptures in the auction.
And have you ever tried to mentor some of the young artists or the young sculptors?
I
Them some direction?
Yes, I really would take it as a very novel practice for people like us with some experience.
Yes.
Whether I have much to teach or not, but I think there are students who have a lot to learn from me. I mean, so they come to me to read. They come with their ideas and what
then
you
you
done,
guide.
and I really look at their book.
Okay.
So I have a kind of a strong base even today in Shantiniketan with the foundation that I have, Musui Art Foundation, and this foundation is very active in Shantiniketan.
Okay.
So this place is where I am there. So this
Yes, and you're there in any case 10-15 days.
there's a month almost, so they can interact with me. And also the foundation supports with some scholarships, and 2 scholarships are given from my foundation,
Right.
and then few scholarships I choose. Like recently, in the last year, I suppose, the Mahindra group came to me asking that they would like to give three scholarships.
Yes.
So I said, well, my job was already to choose that,
Yes.
because they would not come to know and two other persons is serving and all. So that way,
That
a
means
certain amount of interaction with the young mind.
Okay.
It's always constantly happening in Shantiniketan.
Okay, and can you tell me a little about like your family and how they supported you through the year?
Well, when I wanted to study in Anjaleka, my father was, he didn't discourage.
Just correct.
Yeah, he was sort of saying that, well, if that's where you want it to be, and I think his support was very big for me to study art, because it's expensive. Being a third child, again to go to outside states, then naturally has to have certain expenditure, which either he could spend that much or not, but at least he was not stopping me from going. That was a very big encouragement.
Right.
And then in Shantiniketan, I met with a girl who was my classmate. We became good friends, and she does printmaking. She was a student of Somnath Hall, and so we became very close. And late after many years, well, she's my wife now. So
Shantiniketan is embedded.
Yes, Shantiniketan has that kind of atmosphere.
Okay.
Oh, I would really say it's an extremely romantic place.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking the experience.
Because of, I tell you, the place has, I don't know how many people have come out as bachelors there. I mean, you get a bachelor degree, but you are not a bachelor.
Yes.
Somehow you get involved with something or other.
Great.
But I think or having a wife who is a classmate
Yes.
and who is also an artist
Yeah.
would naturally give me a lot of scope to continue to work in my own direction.
Yeah.
Because somebody else from the other field may not understand what's happening. So the communication is a big platform from where one can really explore.
Right. That's really great. And so basically you even now go back to Shantiniketan. You did your early years there. You met your wife there. And what would you, besides your foundation, of course, that you're giving back there, would you suggest any corporate promotes it or takes it forward? generation. Yeah, foundation.
I think, how I conceive it is that it's
I'm looking ahead.
now, it's like I have a very large setup there. Now, the centenary year of Krishna Reddy, the exhibition is going to be opened in December. So we had many shows of K.J. Subramanian and Jyoti Bhatt's photographs and things like that. So many exhibitions happens over there. And for all this, I have a young crowd, young group of artists who are helping me to put things up.
Right.
So the things are making me, the environment and the kind of helping hand, making me much easier for me to carry out many of these projects.
But your heart is in public project with it. So, well, I'm sure once everyone hears about today's show, and we're going to, and I also did not know that you had done so much internationally. I knew internationally, but I didn't know in such prominent places like south of France, where tourists and visitors go. I'm sure the government and other public spaces will also invite you in India, because it's very someone rare who does bronze at the kind of shapes and form, which are very, very rare. So I'm going to ask you a small rapid fire. Not this before, and of course then and also if you can advise the youth and the galleries today, what would be your advice with your vast experience, how to take them forward? Because earlier there used to be like 20 to 30% markups. I'm purposely addressing this issue. Today the markups are much higher, which makes it's not that the artist is benefiting, it's the gallery who's the person in between who's benefiting. And it just costs the customer much more to get that most beautiful piece of art. Now, it's not possible that everyone has access to you, to come to you, or to anyone as, one of your contemporaries or, your colleagues. So, what is your advice to galleries? What is your view on online art and, selling through catalogs and online as well?
Yeah. You see, most of the exhibitions that I have done, except some of the early exhibitions, right? You go and book a hall and you put this exhibition.
Yes.
But that was the case of me in the beginning, because nobody wanted to touch a sculptor.
Yes.
Because they were very scared that, it's not colorful, it's not this, it's not that. People may not buy. So no gallery was willing to invest money onto a sculptor.
Yes.
So sculptors were sitting. Or sculptures were
second
row or the back bench.
Even I used to do that. If I had money, I would buy an artwork. Then
naturally.
But now I think
things have changed a lot over a period of time. Now, what I suggest is that slowly they understood the whole art practice is changed.
Yes.
Some of the galleries came forward. I remember in 2000, it was only 25 years back, that Vadera Gallery approached me for an exhibition, because until then they had not shown a sculptor.
Right.
So I was very happy that Vadera Gallery is also showing. So that was happened. And after that, you keep changing, because I grew up with different support system that was working for me.
Yes.
So I cannot be sort of exclusively working with the gallery. It's not possible.
Yes.
So any gallery that comes to me, I would give them, and they would sell it for whatever thing. I don't really. Once it goes from me to a gallery, then the traffic is not in my control.
Yes,
it has its own way of teaching out. But then I think it's very important for galleries to deal with artists. And artists also may be very happy to deal with the art form, because you want to spend more time. But everybody is not a very good marketing person.
Yes.
And it's very difficult, especially for a sculptor, to find a market and create a market. So I think I work with galleries, and every city probably, like now I am going to have an exhibition with a gallery in Hyderabad. Now, but very soon. And I work with the Imani Group in Hakata, and I work with a particular gallery here in Delhi, and that's Navia Gallery. And then many galleries are here. They would like to actually come and work with. I work with many galleries.
Many galleries.
Yes, but then you want naturally stick to a gallery that is more transparent with the
with the artist.
With the artist.
Yes,
of course. But when you're talking about the money part of it, it's why artists would still be willing to part with a kind of a good percentage of amount, for the reason of, the kind of promotion that you get from the gallery side. See, galleries are selling. Also, the galleries are sponsoring. Let I tell you very simple, one of the example I can tell you, like, I have a retrospective, 50 years of my sculpturing retrospective that was happened in Bikaner house. And the Bikaner house is not cheap. They were charging almost ₹1,00,000 a day, which means 1 month of exhibition 30 lakhs or a day. And the book that they have produced also is very, very, very illustrious kind of a thing.
Yes.
So with all this kind of money being spent on an artist, I wouldn't mind in return a kind of a thing. Because when some galleries without doing anything for you and still taking so much of money, it becomes too difficult. And even for a buyer, it becomes too much of tax.
Oh, well, Ray. So I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions like I've asked everyone. Oil on canvas or watercolor?
Oh, oil on canvas?
Okay. Obviously a bronze sculptor or something with cement or clay?
No, it depends on because any bronze sculptor.
You should have said bronze.
The best answer is definitely the bronze, but the clay and bronze is also meant for bronze.
Ouch.
Yes, it doesn't stay in bronze. So if you say clay, which will go to the bronze?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, Japanese or Chinese food?
Chinese.
Okay. Paris or putting your sculptor at the Habitat or Rashtrapati Bhavan?
I would really want to treat Paris.
Paris?
Yes.
It's giving you much more.
Yeah, it really, because I'm both there,
Yeah.
that's the kind of exposure I get to see. And with Rashtrapati Bhavan, I don't know how many people will see it. People will comment.
Okay, now just a tricky question I want to ask you. Earning in dollars for your sculptor or in his rupees?
Well, you see, the convertibility is almost same now. One time, my earning dollars, when I started, I didn't have to pay tax. So that time dollar was good. Today, it's the same. I have to pay GST. So I prefer in Indian rupees.
Okay. A holiday in, I'm not going to say south of France because I know you like it. Holiday in America, in Andamans, or in Italy.
Oh, so always Italy.
All creative people would love either Italy or France, of course, without a doubt. Okay. Spending an evening with your wife or making a sculptor?
I'm used to spending with my wife, and this program is going to be seen by her. And
You want to live with her?
That to be
Great.
yes, it yes.
So with her. Okay, great. So lovely having you on the show, and thank you so much. And I look forward to all the youth, especially, and the young children learning and understanding what the difference in sculptor and a painting is, why it's better, why it's long lasting, which you've taught everyone, the materials, and not to mention about Shantiniketan and how it is from then in the last 50 years to now. And also the amazing success that you had, and you made India proud by putting all your sculptors around the world. And that's why the recognition you got today in India is much less compared to what you got overseas. But I'm sure after seeing this show, everyone's going to be chasing you for even much more. So thank you so much for coming on the show of Angie's India. And I look forward to some great more sculptors around our city and other cities in India.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So that was RADHAKRISHNAN ji, one of the renowned sculptors of India. He's done some of the most beautiful and curated pieces in India and of course overseas. He's done some unique pieces in south of France and other parts of the world. Everyone knows him and everyone knows how famous he is all over the world. And then that made India recognize him. That's why I chose him as one of my superstars in Angie's India. Everyone has contributed in some way to the success of this country, be it an artist, be it a sculptor, be it a jeweler, be it a fashion designer, and businessmen, of course, and not to mention our politicians. Very soon, we're going to show you our next guest with a very interesting episode. So come and watch the next show of Angie's India. Thank you.